I will have to go to women's rights. You wrote this piece on how everybody seems so surprised that the ladies are upset about Dobbs. I'm shocked anybody's surprised either, but
I mean, people are. I don't think they're feigning surprise. I just don't think they were. Maybe some of them are. I just think nobody was paying attention. And you know as well as I do that the predominant way of thinking your way past this issue for 30 years was, oh, they'd never overturn Roe. They're only in it for fundraising.
Right.
You know, they wouldn't know what to do if they overturned Roe. Well, it turned out they really knew what to do once they overturned Roe, which was to make it impossible for it to come back again.
Mm-hmm.
And all these high-toned folks, out there going, I can't believe this. No, I can't believe they're passing all these terrible laws, and I can't believe the ladies are upset about them. I mean, what planet are these people from?
The fact of it was 50 years of law, and they went, meh. And then women.
Yeah, that's the most proximate one, but it was also 50 years of them saying exactly what they were going to do if they ever got the chance to do it. And everybody else kind of shining them on, saying it would never happen.
Yeah, I mean, they are the dog that caught the car for sure. And it is, I do believe, because it was a huge factor in the 22 election, and I do believe it will be a huge factor next year, because women of a certain age want to be able to have access to abortion rights. And they're trying to, they're going to, birth control is next. I believe that. Birth control is next.
Oh, I've always said, and I've always said that the real conservative object was not Roe, it was Griswold.
Mm-hmm.
Because conservatives do not believe in a constitutional right to privacy of any kind.
Right.
You push them to the wall, and it's there's nothing in the text of the Constitution that mentions privacy. Yeah, except that like the first 5 amendments, actually 6 amendments, are dedicated to keeping the government out of your business.
Yes.
But that's what they want. They want that one to fall.
No, I agree.
And that will entail that if Griswold falls, then that means a hell of a lot more than birth control.
Yes, it does.
That's the internet. That's medical records. That's genetic records.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole ball of wax.
Oh, I agree completely. And it is terrifying because Thomas basically said so. He's like, I'm happy. I would be very happy to overturn everything but Loving, interestingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't want to overturn Loving for some strange reason.
I can't figure out why.
Seems like an easy solution to a huge problem named Jenny.
That was the decision that allowed intermarriage between judges and crazy people, right?
Apparently, yes. Yeah. It's a very specific law. You wrote a little bit about Titan, and I agree with you on this with the kid that was terrified.
That to me is just profoundly tragic.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go. No. Dad leaned on him. It was Father's Day. And now he's, going to rest forever 10,000 feet below the surface.
Yeah.
But I just
plus, it keeps coming out that this guy MacGyvered this thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, totally.
I think in his garage.
If you saw the CBS Sunday Morning story about this,
terrifying,
with David Pogue, I believe it was.
I think, yeah.
And it was from last year. He went inside the thing and interviewed the captain who went down with the ship, and like the way this thing was MacGyvered is terrifying.
Yeah,
absolutely terrifying.
And
it was essentially run by a Game Boy console.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Yes.
Exactly.
And not even one produced by Sony. It was like a Logitech one. So it was. Yeah.
It was like an off-brand remote control for.
Yeah.
It was generic.
Right.
And what these people had to sign over, basically, I don't know if their families are going to be able to sue the company for their wrongful deaths.
I think there are going to be a lot of lawyers who want to try.
I agree, but according to somebody else that went on that same thing a couple of years ago, he said it's like 50 pages of release that you have to sign to just get on the stupid thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Why do you want to go look at the wreck of the Titanic? we have wonderful unmanned, cameras that have been going down there for 20 years.
Yeah.
And taking lovely photos of it.
I suppose if you got a spare $250,000.
But and I'm telling you, everybody is piling on. James Cameron is piling on.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And he's been down there.
Yeah. And he went down there in a craft of his own design, but he said he only did it by himself because he didn't want to put anyone else in danger.
At risk. Right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
No,
it's,
I mean, and apparently this, Professor, Detective Gadget, Inspector Gadget, also monkeyed around with the carbon, essentially the sheathing.
The carbon
of
fiber.
Right.
Carbon
Yeah.
fiber.
Yeah. Ah, jeez.
And apparently, every time carbon fiber is under stress, it weakens just a little bit. Mm-hmm. They didn't take that into account.
I know, they just didn't care.
Yeah, as Travis said last week, it's like if you keep blowing up a balloon.
Something out of the Little Rascals where they built a raft,
Right.
Exactly.
And it was it was the He-Man Women Haters Club.
Exactly.
And there was something like somebody, one of the other reporters that went down in it with him in Florida, and they didn't go down very deep, but when they were down there, he heard like the popping and the stress on it, and said that's alarming.
Yeah.
No
and
kidding.
pointed it out to
The captain.
And he did nothing about it.
Man, it's just.
The warning signs were there.
They were there, and
How much did it cost to do this?
$250,000 per person.
per person which means it costs a little bit less than that because you
Right.
want to make a profit.
Right.
And there was another person who went down, I want to say it was last year,
Yeah.
with it, and he said, oh yeah, we lost contact with the ship above us for a couple of hours.
Well, sure. When David Pogue went down on the CBS Sunday Morning thing, they lost contact with the ship for 2.5 hours.
Terrifying.
That's
That's
frightening.
terrifying.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Well, hopefully we'll have new regulations when it comes to things like
But
this.
these are international waters, so you really can't.
Well, no, I
regulate.
mean we have regulations on cruise ships and other things that go internationally.
Sure.
And, so I think that laws will change. Like for instance, the Titanic didn't have enough lifeboats for everybody. Guess what? We have them now. So.
But that's safety regulations that are put in place on both ends of the voyage.
Right, and it's also safety regulation of where the ship is registered.
Mm-hmm. So.
Well, I mean, is where the Titanic is some sort of international historical site now?
It probably
I'm not sure.
is.
Do we know?
I don't know.
I bet it is at this point.
Like the Parthenon or
I have no idea.
Angkor Wat.
Would it be the United Nations that would be in charge of something like that?
No idea.
I would assume so. Yeah.
have no-
UNESCO. That's the one.
Okay.
UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Yes.
There
What
you
I
go.
was looking for.
Yeah.
There you go.